We gather here today to celebrate and profess our love for NXT. NXT has been officially killed by WWE as they've released more than half of their Performance Center staff. Plus, could Impact and WWE be working on a partnership? We have news on that, as well as multiple injuries in AEW, as well as your show reviews and previews for this coming week, plus more. So, this is Breaking the Wall episode 4, right here on the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, how's it going?
It's going great, bro.
Yeah, today's a big day, actually. Today is January 8th, 2022. It feels weird saying that, actually. But today, as you guys know, is Battle of the Belts. We're going to be there for that. And we're going to get a vlog for that as well. We actually filmed a behind-the-scenes kind of, not really, but, just Charlotte's buzzing today, the Queen City, as always. So we're excited to be there. But, Brandon, bittersweet week for pro wrestling. Kind of an interesting week. Give me your thoughts on this week overall, as we do every week.
Yeah, this week, another one that, didn't really pick up again until about the middle of what was going on,
Wednesday, second week in a row.
So, that's when wrestling news really starts to pick up, because you don't get a lot of stuff coming into the first 2 days. Nothing really to talk about. But then once you get into like the middle of the week, something always comes up, and that was the case again. Like you said, it was a lot of unfortunate things happened this week with injuries and releases. Wrestling wise, what we got, from the product of overall pro wrestling, it was a pretty nice week. But it was this week, not too much good stuff, but like you said, bittersweet.
In the intro, I said we gather here today. That's a line you hear at a lot of funerals. Unless I'm an idiot and that's not at funerals. I don't know. I haven't been to too many funerals, but
I don't know. I've heard it at weddings too, but who knows?
Yeah, I've definitely heard it at weddings, but I don't know. I'm not going to spend time talking about where I've heard we gather here today, because we are gathered here today. To celebrate the life of NXT, February 2010 to January 5th, 2022. So, we'll get right into things. Today's big story is the purge of NXT. NXT was the best thing in pro wrestling until about September 2019, you'd say, Brandon, when they went to USA Network and AEW came around?
No, I give them to about early 2022 because I remember Takeover Portland was fire, so they still have some good stuff.
Okay, up until the pandemic, I'll give them that. Up until the pandemic, NXT was the best thing in pro wrestling. Okay, Triple H was running his promotion like nobody else had ever dreamed of. It was the best thing in the community. Everybody loved it. And then all of a sudden, there's a ratings war, right? There is a battle for the ratings that Triple H could not win. It was impossible for him to win it. AEW was new. It had intrigue, and it had new people that everybody wanted to see. It was an impossible task created by impossible people in WWE, management. And then Triple H lost the war. They moved nights. Vince McMahon saw this as a failure and decided to revoke his rights as leader of NXT. He ruined all his stars that he built up. He effectively removed him from power. And now this week, he fired half of his staff that he had built and grown a brand with. This week, WWE gutted the Performance Center staff as well as three active NXT wrestlers. William Regal, Road Dogg, Dave Kapoor, who was Ranjin Singh, if you remember, the great Khali. Samoa Joe, Scott Armstrong, he used to be a ref. Chris Guy, Ryan Katz, George Carroll, Kathy Carino, Hideki Suzuki, who was Hachiman in Diamond Mine, Danny Burch, and Timothy Thatcher, who we haven't seen on TV in a while, and I've heard that Timothy Thatcher was actually working as a coach. All released this week. This, and I think there's more that I missed. But these people are people who worked right alongside Triple H. William Regal was the GM. He was, in my opinion, the best GM of all time. He released Road Dogg, or they released Road Dogg, a close right-hand man of Triple H, produced the shows, helped build that brand. They released Samoa Joe, a guy who was a top star on that brand. This is his second time being fired in less than a year. And then you got the Performance Center staff, people like Dave Kapoor, who I'm pretty sure was a producer, Scott Armstrong, who was a producer and coach, Chris Guy, Ryan Katz, George Carroll, Kathy Carino, who was Allison Danger, all Performance Center coaches. Hideki Suzuki worked as a coach as well. And then two of Triple H's superstars in Timothy Thatcher and Danny Burch. Brandon, when I look at this, and then the report came out, but initially when I looked at this, I was like, there is not a single possible explanation anybody can give me that makes an ounce of sense saying that this was not planned to, happen this way. This was 100% an attack on NXT. So, we don't have a lot of time today as we're going into Charlotte, so that takes a minute. So I want to kind of get through things quickly. But, Brandon, I want to know your thoughts, especially about William Regal, Road Dogg, and Samoa Joe. What do you think of this situation?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. William Regal was, he took part, on screen being a general manager, with making matches, being great, and did the same exact thing off screen too. He took part, in the creative and all of that. They were all very hands on with everything, with Road Dogg, and then when Samoa Joe, got injured, he didn't leave. He stayed backstage, being hands on, helping out with anything he could. And I'm assuming, I guess he was a coach, for a minute.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's really unfortunate. It's sad because it just further confirms that this isn't Triple H's NXT anymore. And people can say, "Oh, Shawn Michaels is running it." Shawn Michaels, simply just doing what he can to try to make it the best from what Vince and Bruce gave him to do. And like I said, it's really unfortunate, but none of them had anything bad to say, and they all just enjoyed their time, working with NXT, and they're just excited for their futures. And I mean, I am too. So,
how could you not enjoy your time in NXT? Up until about 5 months ago, everything that you had dreamed of in building a wrestling brand was there. Triple H had the keys to that company. All Vince had to do was trust in him that he could get that company to where they needed to be without Vince there, and boom, we're looking at a completely different company. But Vince McMahon isn't like that. Vince McMahon is seldom to give second chances. And after Triple H lost the ratings war, which was an impossible task, he was never going to win. You even have Tony Khan saying they should release their own document called 76-1. NXT beat AEW once in 77 weeks of going head-to-head. Does that tell you that they were capable of doing so? No. It's not like it was 43 to, or like, I don't know, half and half. I know my math is probably wrong there, but it wasn't close. And that's a product of not being able to do so. And that's not Triple H's fault. It was an impossible task, and Vince McMahon screwed up by making him try to counterbook. I think personally, and I know a lot of people agree with me, that if they just let Triple H run his show and not give him a ratings war, and he didn't have to counterbook and counterreact to everything that AEW did, he still wouldn't have beat them, but it would have been close.
Exactly.
Having the pressure from higher management to have to counterbook everything they do, having to make your main events commercial free, having to book a certain match on this show instead of keeping it off of a takeover so the build is better, completely killed that momentum. And Vince McMahon saw it as a failure, and they pulled Triple H from that. And people can tell me all they want. Oh, Shawn Michaels is running it. Shawn Michaels is in charge. No, he's not. Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard give Shawn Michaels a list of things to accomplish each week, and Shawn Michaels does it to the best of his abilities. You can't tell me that Shawn Michaels willingly has jacket time running around on TV every week. If that's the case, Shawn Michaels deserves to be let go too. But that's not the case. Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard send down what they want, and Shawn Michaels basically makes sure the show is running smoothly. That's all he's there for. He's a glorified babysitter. He does what he can to the best of his abilities, and that's all he's able to do because that's all they're allowing him to do. It's an absolutely abysmal situation right now, and you saw it on Wednesday night. We didn't cover anything this week because of how busy we were. And I forgot to touch on that at the beginning of the show, but yes, we were busy this week. That's why there was no extra content out. That'll be changed next week. But we saw it on Wednesday night. Braun Breaker kicked down the old NXT logo, and that was all I needed to know. Right there. William Regal, I would pay great money to have him show up in AEW and scream blood and guts like he did War Games when Blood and Guts comes around. Road Dogg, go ahead and go on over to AEW as well. Start a faction with the Gun Club and be their manager. Samoa Joe, go ahead and go wherever you want. He's a gem. He will do fine wherever. Timothy Thatcher and Danny Burch, I don't know what to tell you. You were dealt the short end of a stick. Go work your way back up on the indies. These coaches, all these coaches need to talk to Tony Khan, and they need to build an AEW performance center, training center, whatever you want to call it. They need to build one, and they need to start molding the next group of professional wrestlers and do it better than WWE, because that was a good group of coaches that they fired, and that's the only option they have left to continue their coaching career unless they find some other place that I don't know of, unless they want to start their own training center, not affiliated with a big company. But NXT was absolutely gutted this week, and it's sad to see because we all know why. Reports came out saying that these firings were because they were on Triple H's staff. I didn't need a report to tell me that. I have my 2 eyes and my 2 ears and a brain, a functioning brain. Brandon, final thoughts?
Yeah, man. William Regal, I pay money to have him in AEW, backstage and some type of on-screen personnel. Road Dogg, same thing. Road Dogg definitely would put him on the creative team for AEW because he has a great mind for wrestling. Because not a lot of people know he was part of the team for SmackDown Live when the brand split first happened back in 2016. He was part of the reason why the show was so good and it was like NXT. So yeah, definitely need to get him over there to All Elite Wrestling. Writing team, on screen, be with his best friend Billy Gunn and Samoa Joe. Wherever you go, I'm gonna watch. Because his wrestling career isn't over. Maybe
it is soon, but not yet. He has much to give.
Yeah, not yet. He still has some more to give. Yeah, man, that's really it. I just hope the best for everybody that was released and lost their job.
Yeah, and that's all there is to do. WWE is an absolutely abysmal company to work for. I'd never do it. I want to be a professional commentator when I grow up into the adult seen a little bit more. WWE is a place I would never want to work for. Speaking of commentating, Tom Phillips is joining Impact commentary team. He'll be at Hard to Kill tonight, so good for him. Speaking of Impact, that was my little segue into the next segment. No. We're going to talk about this first. Could WWE be preparing to sell the company to Disney? Reports last year said Vince McMahon may be in a position to sell WWE, and Disney, Nick Khan, and NBC are all potential candidates. Now I'll read a few quotes from our good buddy Ben Allison of Wrestling Republic. Let me find that. Ben had a 7-part quote this week on Twitter saying, and I quote, Wrestling Republic have learned that there has been a lot of speculation around WWE in the past 24 hours that a potential sale of the company could be nearing after WWE significantly streamlined their developmental staff yesterday. As we exclusively reported in late 2021, WWE planned to sell the company within the next 24 months, with Disney being the ideal buyers. Since we broke that story, executives have been a lot more tight-lipped around the situation, with many in corporate not being told info. On Tuesday, WWE made an announcement revealing that WWE would be joining Disney Plus in Indonesia, with multiple outlooks reporting on the story and including a statement from Nick Khan. However, within minutes, WWE removed the press release and most outlooks deleted articles. Earlier this week, it was reported by Matt Belloni of Puck that 3 million people have watched WWE content since it moved to Peacock, and that WWE has brought in a 1.5 million sub number to the platform, meaning it is Peacock's biggest attraction. This news could have pushed NBC to make a bid WWE couldn't reject in order to make sure WWE wouldn't leave Peacock if it was sold to a rival company, aka Disney, or example Disney. This could also explain why WWE pulled out of Disney Plus deal in Indonesia last minute. Alternatively, it's possible Disney saw this news and finally approached WWE about a potential bid and possibly asked WWE to hold out on the Indonesia deal, which could have been why it was pulled just minutes after being released. We have approached other sources in corporate over the past 24 hours inquiring about a possible sale of the company. However, we were told they are either no longer being kept in the loop or have yet to reply. As of this time, none have rejected the idea of a sale being close. That is from Ben Allison of Wrestling Republic. Brandon, we've heard a lot about this. We've heard a lot about a potential sale of the company. I haven't really thought much about, who could buy or when it could be bought. But what I can tell you is that I do see a sale coming. And to be honest with you, I think the news of all these releases and all this, budget cuts is in preparation to be sold. So, Brandon, what do you think of what Ben wrote about the company being sold, and what do you make of the Disney Plus deal and where we could be potentially heading with WWE's, sale?
Yeah. Like you said, WWE, with it being so, they're all about, who can offer, the bigger money, really. And, Disney, I feel like, WWE being sold to Disney would be probably maybe, surprising to a lot of people. But, WWE more likes to, appeal to kids. But with them being with Peacock, I think it'd be more likely for them if they got, if they sold their company, which I think they will. I just don't know when. I would think it'd probably be to NBC, since they've been, with USA for like forever. And I wouldn't really see them leaving NBC and then, with joining Peacock being their biggest attraction. I feel like, I just feel like, it not happening is kind of like, out of the question now because, they have that whole Peacock deal. And I think it's very possible. I think it will happen. So I see them eventually, being sold to NBC. nothing better would come out of the product, but I mean, nothing worse, really. I mean, really just be, the same. They just, would have been sold to, NBC, and we probably just started seeing them involved in more things. But yeah, it's whatever at this point. I mean, nothing's really to complain about because everything's been done, and at this point, it's just an ongoing cycle with releases and them setting themselves up for whatever they're about to do, and you just have to let it happen. No, we can do about it.
Look, I think the 24 months is an excellent time frame because 2 years is a lot of time for a sale to happen. So there can be a lot done, and sales usually don't go through. Sales of this magnitude usually doesn't go through quickly. So I think we are leading to a sale of the company. It definitely seems that way looking at everything that's happening. Especially with the topic we're about to talk about with Impact, I have two possible scenarios. Maybe one, the company's already been bought, and we're looking at the new owner's way of expanding their business relations because we know Vince really has never done anything like this. Or two, this is Vince's way of showing potential buyers that he is willing to, or this is the direction that the company is willing to go in if it's bought. What I know from hearing people in the business world, potential buyers like flexibility, and working with Impact is definitely a flexible move. So maybe Vince is trying to do this to prove to people that, hey, WWE can work with other companies.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
not only that, that report came out, like sometime last year about WWE working with New Japan. New Japan and Impact about to be on the same network again. So, maybe if they do that working with a relationship with Impact, maybe we see New Japan get involved also with them being on the same network. Who knows? But yeah, who knows what Vince is about to do with this sell company thing. About to go ahead. But yeah, go ahead, finish.
But those are the two things that I could legitimately see as potential reasons as to why this deal is going down with Impact. Flexibility is everything in business. If you can't adapt to try and make a sale, you're not going to be successful. And if we know anything about Vince McMahon as a businessman, he will do anything for money. He'll cut his own family to get money. If he had to, he'd sell out for money because he loves money. He doesn't love the business, he loves money. And this sale of the company is a money move that I think everything is related. You don't just see things for absolutely no reason. It's not how things work. Hold on. I just saw something on Twitter that confused me. All right. Next topic we have is the one we just hinted at. Impact and WWE potentially working together. After last night, there are speculations that both companies are working together. Mickie James, who is, I have a lot to say about, but Mickie James will be in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and I want everybody to keep in mind she is the current Knockout Women's Champ, and she's defending it tonight against Deonna Purrazzo. It was announced that she would be joining the Royal Rumble field in that absolutely abysmal segment where they announced the competitors.
Yeah, very dumb.
Which I have a lot to say. We'll get into that when we do the show reviews, but they promoted each other as well. When WWE posted that Mickie James would be in the Rumble, it was Impact Knockouts World Champ Mickie James will be in the Rumble. When Impact posted it, it was said as Impact Knockouts World Champ will be entering the WWE Royal Rumble. So they both mentioned each other like you don't usually see that, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is guys like Josh Alexander on Twitter teased potential appearances. And the third thing is, and let me find this tweet. Scott D. Amore. He said, and I quote, Mickie James has Impact's blessing to carry the Knockouts World title belt into the Royal Rumble, and as you saw, WWE respects her as a world champion. But Mickie has to get by Deonna Purrazzo at Hard to Kill tonight, or she goes into the Rumble 6 pounds lighter. And he also tweeted out last night that congratulations to Impact Knockouts World Champion Mickie James, and congrats to WWE for finally walking through the forbidden door. So, Brandon, one thing I see about this a lot is I see the term forbidden door being thrown around very loosely.
Yeah.
Forbidden door is a term that a lot of people equated to, Impact in AEW or Impact in New Japan, Impact in AEW and New Japan altogether. So, to me, now I don't know where this is going. Superstars in Impact or wrestlers in Impact have teased it, not tweezed. I don't know what I'm talking about. Teased it, and they've tweeted about it. But what are you making of this? Because I'm going to take a second to kind of collect my thoughts and what I want to say. But what are you making of this entire situation? Do you think we're actually legit leading to something with the Forbidden Door, or do you think this is just kind of a one-off thing or something that WWE is doing to make money?
So I saw something last night where somebody had said, gave their thoughts on this whole situation, and I think most people think that this is more of a one-off thing, because Mickie James, she's Knockouts world champion, but is she even officially contracted to?
No, she's
Impact?
not.
Yeah, she's not. So I think WWE reached out to her, as a free agent, but I think it was just a mutual thing. She was like, sure, but would you guys mind acknowledging that, I'm the champion of this company or whatever? So, I think people are reading into it too far, mostly because it's WWE, and I don't like getting my hopes up with WWE. So I think this is more like a one-off thing. I don't really see a partnership, but there's been times on many occasions where WWE has mentioned Impact's name. But I mean, who knows? But if you ask me, I think this is just a one-off thing for the Royal Rumble, because they need the spots, and it's a big women's thing. And usually when you see big, kind of big matches like this, outside of it, you usually see other women from other companies, come in and try to, help out. And that's all I really think this is, with Mickie James being in it. So if you ask me, I think it's a one-off.
Yeah, there's two things that I think could potentially be happening, but both of them really, I think, is a one-off. One, Mickie James, like Brandon said, could just be appearing in the Women's Rumble to help out. That's a very real possibility. They have 20 women in the company? They need women. But here's the thing about Mickie James. I don't know why she'd go back after what they did to her and what they treated her like last year. They treated her, who is an actual women's wrestling legend, not to these marks on Twitter who think Alicia Fox is. Mickie James is a legitimate wrestling legend. Women's wrestling legend. I'd go on to say she is a wrestling legend. They treated her like she was a bum that they brought in as a local competitor to job out to somebody in 10 seconds. Like what we used to see with Braun Strowman or Nia Jax. She was treated like absolute trash. So what makes her want to come back? Why would she want to come back to an environment like that? I don't know. I can't tell you that. Maybe it's for the betterment of the business, she thinks. That may be a very real possibility. Is it? No. Mickie James doesn't mean anything to that Rumble. Neither does anybody else who's coming back. The only two people that would mean anything to that Rumble are Ronda Rousey and Paige. So, Mickie James, I think she's just doing it for the payday. You know, you get paid money when your name is mentioned by other companies. That's double your money. You get paid when you go into these big spots because they need you like this. And you get paid the more your name is said and the more you appear. So, personally to me, I think this is a one-off just to get Mickie James her payday. But another thing I think it could be a business tactic from WWE. There are a lot of valuable guys and girls in Impact who could do a lot for WWE. Impact can't sign, or AEW can't sign everybody. They're not going to be there's a lot of people open on the free agent market right now that they want to sign before they start looking at Impact guys. This could be a way to bring some of these Impact guys in for the Rumble and try to get them to sign with the company. Like Moose, like Josh Alexander, like Sami Callihan, like Jordan Grace, like Deonna Purrazzo, even though they released her last year. I feel like they didn't really know what she could do. Guys like that, girls like that, they're out there. They're not being contracted to AEW anytime soon because there's still people on the open market that they're going to want to sign. And then on top of that, they already have people in their company they're building around. So if anything, this is an opportune time for WWE to bring some of these people in. I think this could be a way to get those guys and girls away from Impact and into their company. You know, the Rumble is a great opportunity to do so. There's a lot of ways they can book these Impact people to have good showings. Do I see we see a few? Do I think we see a few? Yes. I think Moose and Josh Alexander are very real possibilities. And I don't want people to think this Forbidden Door thing is a lasting situation. It's not. You're not going to see AEW people showing up in WWE. Not after they literally just annihilated their biggest show of the year on Wednesday. Not after they've been constantly talking down on them for the past 2.5 years of their existence. That's not happening. You're not going to see New Japan people coming into the company because they're already working with AEW. AEW or WWE is trying to monopolize the wrestling industry. Wrestling stars away from Impact and into their company is a way of doing so. You're not leading to anything here but a one-off appearance just to get guys to be signed to the company and potentially give people like Mickie James a payday. So, don't expect anything of this. This is not, at least the way I see it, this is not a big deal. But are there possibilities that it could be a long-term deal? Sure. But as of now, I don't think so. Brandon, do you have any final thoughts?
Nah, man.
Drew McIntyre. It was reported that Drew McIntyre is dealing with a neck injury that may require surgery. Drew McIntyre was written off of TV at day one when his neck was attacked by Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. And last night on SmackDown, the announcers played up his injury, saying he needed time off and had like a cervical strain or something like that, something to do with the neck. So I think in this situation there has to be a lot of evaluating done. You know, you have to see the severity of the injury, whether he can work the Rumble, whether he wants to work the Rumble, and whether he's going to be able to compete at WrestleMania. If he needs surgery, then no, he'll be out for the foreseeable future. But I think in this situation, it's just a matter of what Drew is capable of doing without hurting it more. You know, they kind of wrote him off of TV to get evaluated, I believe. But Brandon, I want to know your thoughts. Before I kind of go into where I saw Drew going and how this affects him, what do you think of this whole situation, and how do you think WWE needs to attack this situation?
Well, like at first I thought Drew was gonna have, he's gonna be a part of the, Universal title match at Mania with Braun and Roman. But now that this match is gonna be title for title, I changed my entire mind, and it's just gonna be 1-on-1. Because now they didn't even have their series. Well, this series. matches really. They only had one. So yeah, now I mean, it kind of works out now because now they don't have to really like find anything for him to do. And if they did have to find something for him to do, it wouldn't have been hard. They could have just they could have found something for Drew to do at Mania, but and they still can because we like I said, we don't know like what he's gonna do or how long he's gonna have time off. If he does have major time off, then uh I think Drew's presence is gonna be like missed on the show, and then whenever he comes back, whether that's as a face, people love it, or whether that's as a heel, people love it. Um, and if you ask me, I think the way this will work out, if Drew got like a actual good amount of time off, I'd have him come back as a heel and have everybody, like pull a swerve on everybody and have everybody be shocked. Because I personally miss Drew as a heel, and I thought he had his, some of his best work as a heel.
Right.
But I just hope he has his, comes out strong. And I really hope it's nothing too serious because neck injuries are definitely not anything to play with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hope the best for him, and I hope he recovers fast from whatever this injury is.
Right. Look, I think we all thought Drew was heading towards something with Roman. That is not the case now. So I think this is the actual perfect time for him to take some time off. Because if he's not going to be doing anything meaningful at WrestleMania, I don't want him doing anything at all. He needs to take some time off. As my light just went off, I'm sitting here in the dark for some reason. Let me check that. Hold on, guys. But I think if he's not doing anything meaningful, then why should he be doing anything at all? So you need to let him get some time off. Fix what he needs to fix with his neck. Come back as a heel. Get interesting again, and that's when we can start talking about, world title stuff. There we go. World title stuff, things like that. So, just be natural about it. Let him get his time off. Do it now while you have a chance. You don't need him right now. Have him come back around SummerSlam as a heel, depending on if he needs surgery or not. Get him rested. There's no shame in working for the last 2 years straight and needing a little bit of time off. Everybody does it. So yeah, Drew McIntyre should go get the help. Go get the help with his neck, if it's that severe. Kazuchika Okada was in the news this week. I am very excited about this news. He wants a match with Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. But this news is more about Punk. Okada went on record in an interview this past week saying that he wanted to face CM Punk in a match, and Punk later challenged him to a match in Chicago at the United Center. Take my life savings. Throw it away for all I care. Give me this match. Simple. I feel like this is the biggest possible match for anybody in wrestling. Punk and Okada is absolutely mouth-watering to me. Brandon, what do you think of the thought of having an Okada Punk match potentially at All Out next year?
Yeah. That match would that main event, because that would main event, no question. I don't need anybody to tell me that would main event, no question.
Main event, yep.
Yeah, this the simple rumors of that match. It's gonna be in the United Center because they're not the way All Out is. They're gonna have to have it in a bigger venue, and when they go back to Chicago, it's gonna be in the United Center. The second that match is announced is the second every single ticket sells out. Yeah, that match would be really, really good. I would love to see Punk and Okada, and I think most people would. And surprisingly, I now don't get, Punk and Okada would be amazing. Personally, I think Bryan and Okada would be even better.
It would be.
Because Brian's one of my favorite wrestlers, and Okada is one of my favorite wrestlers too. But either one, Punk and Okada, man, that's I really hope they find some way to do that, and they're gonna find a way to end up doing both. I think with Punk and Okada and Bryan and Okada, with Bryan and Okada wrestling wise would be the one I would be more pumped for.
For sure.
But yeah, I hope and pray they find some way to get it to us all out, because if they do that match would shake the wrestling world.
Yeah. I think both of these matches are the two biggest matches in wrestling possible. Okada coming to AEW and facing both of these guys would tear every house in the country of the United States down. Not even just the arena they're at. I'd pay great money to go see these matches live, and honestly, I think if Tony Khan was able to pull this off next year for All Out, we're looking at a third straight Promoter of the Year award for Tony Khan. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to see if they do this. I think there is a big possibility we see Okada come into AEW around Double or I think we could see him at Double or Nothing, and then that's how we lead into one of these matches at All Out. But Brandon, what do you think would be a perfect introduction for Okada for Okada anytime in AEW?
I think Double or Nothing would work very, very well. To being their biggest show of the year. Finding some way for him to come in would just be great. However they do it, I know it would be great. Whether it's just a blackout and his entrance, whether they have
hearing
some type
the coins drop. Ooh.
Yeah. Something. I just know it'd be something amazing. Yeah, I think Double or Nothing would be a great place to do it. I feel like if Okada shows up, I don't think it'd be on just like a regular TV episode. I feel like it'd be have some type of big pay-per-view. But yeah, bro. It's something we all want.
Yeah, and I'm ready for it. Some unfortunate news that I really don't want to talk about, but we have to. Injuries this week in AEW.
Yeah.
Two very unfortunate ones. We'll start with Rey Fenix, and this looked absolutely terrible. He suffered a badly dislocated elbow in a table spot, and he took to Twitter to say there is no broken bones, but we have no word on the ligament damage. So, Brandon, we both watched this live. We decided not to go live not to record Thursday because we had a busy week and our schedules were already messed up. So, we didn't get to talk about this, but now's our chance. I saw this live, and when I saw the spot, I was like, I don't think his arm is supposed to bend that way, because it bent backwards badly. Looked down at my phone, I saw a notification from somebody on Twitter. Rey Fenix just broke his arm. That's what the tweet read, and I'm like, yeah, he did. And then I looked at the replay, and I'm like, oh my God, that is broken bones, torn ligaments, dislocations. Anything that was in his elbow is now not there anymore. Like, that's how I felt originally. That table spot was brutal. It wasn't Luchasaurus' fault. He landed wrong, caught his arm from under him, broke it, or actually didn't break it, but badly dislocated. As my light cuts out again, what is going on? Let me fix this. But, I just took Brandon away. Take me away instead. Brandon, when you first saw this, kind of give me your reaction, and how do you feel about this Rey Fenix injury? Just give me your overall thoughts.
Yeah, so like when it happened, obviously Luchasaurus just put Rey through the table, and I popped for the table spot, and I was like, oh man, right? And I calmed down and looked back at the TV, and as soon as I look back at the TV, I see Rey Fenix do this to the referee, And I was like, well, what happened? Is he okay? Then they showed the replay, and I was like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt a lot.
That hurt a
That
lot.
hurt a lot.
Yeah.
That hurt a lot. And like they rushed over to him, and he did not get back in the ring.
Nope. He
And
was out.
yeah, he was done for. I was like, oh, yeah. And as soon as that happened, any thought that I had in my mind that Lucha Bros were about to retain, I was like, oh, new tag champs. It's about to happen, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And then I was just hoping. I was like, man, I really hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was scary, bro.
Yeah. My first thought was I hope he doesn't have to cut his arm off. Because that was absolutely brutal. It looked absolutely terrible. And my second thought was, well, they're not retaining. And then about a minute later, there you go. Roll up, 1, 2, 3. I can see it going down like this. He waved the trainers over. They saw his arm. Doc Sampson buzzed into the back. They said his arm is done. Tony Khan told the ref. They took the camera off the ring to look at Luchasaurus on the outside. The ref came over to Penta, said, Ray's done. We're changing things up. Don't kick out. Jungle Boy did the roll up. 1, 2, 3. This was not planned at all. The title change was not planned. And I know this because of the absolute look of shock on Jungle Boy's face when he got the 3 count. He was like, "What just happened?" Like he had no idea what was going on. So that to me was not planned. But I hope Rey Fenix is well, actually now we know he's okay, but I hope he has a speedy recovery because the Lucha Brothers are absolutely amazing at what they do, and I think when they come back they deserve the straps put back on them.
Yeah.
Jake Atlas also suffered a knee injury this week during his match with Adam Cole on Rampage. He did a springboard spot and landed wrong, I guess, and you could see it live on TV, how he landed wrong, and he immediately grabbed at his knee. And when Cole jumped down to do the Panama Sunrise and didn't do it and locked in the knee bar, which had absolutely no pressure applied to it, which is good on Cole's part to realize quickly that it was a real injury. I could see what people are talking about it because after Dynamite this week, I think a lot of the news was about Rey Fenix, but I saw some people saying that Jake Atlas also suffered an injury, and this is unfortunate too because Jake Atlas is very good at what he does, and he had a great match with Cole up until that point, and he just got signed by AEW, so this injury could not come at a worse time with him. But Brandon, I want to get your thoughts on this one as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because it was supposed to be his big debut, and to have it kind of ruined by an injury, especially with knee injuries. Knee injuries, knee injuries and neck injuries, they're like right there together. They're really bad and hard to recover from. But like I said, I just wish him well for his recovery, and shout out to Adam Cole from being good at what he does, being a professional, and being able to improv really nice and like that knee bar in, and help him out to finish that match. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people know this, but Adam Cole is truly one of the best dudes in wrestling. He's one of the most professional. You've heard it from multiple people. And he did a great thing here, recognizing without much communication that the injury was real and that they couldn't take the finish they wanted. Good job on Cole here to just make it look real by locking on a knee bar, even though the knee bar didn't look real. But that's besides the point. I don't think anybody cares about how real the knee bar looked, especially when Jake Atlas probably just tore his ACL. I don't really have word on what the exact injury is or how severe it was. We don't have details on that, but I wish the best to Jake Atlas because I've always been a big fan of Jake Atlas. He's great in the ring. And I hope honestly he comes back very soon because I feel like he had a lot of momentum going into this week against Cole, and they're putting you in the ring with Adam Cole. They have something for you. All right, that's all we have for the news. 50 minutes actually. So we'll get into our show reviews. Monday Night Raw. I covered this on Monday. Brandon was not available. So Brandon, I'll get your thoughts. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman realigned. Lashley wins a Fatal 4-Way, setting up the match with Lesnar at the Rumble. We have a mixed tag match set for the Rumble. And Alpha Academy defeats RK Bro. So, Brandon, give me your thoughts on Monday Night Raw from this past week, since you weren't able to on the podcast.
Yeah. Paul Heyman and Brock. That segment was great. I loved it.
Yep. Good opening.
Confirmed the main event for Mania for night 2. Lashley winning the Fatal 4-Way. Correct move. You want to happen on a big stage. Royal Rumble is one of the biggest stages in WWE today. It's Royal Rumble is really looking up to be good. The way they're getting there, questionable, but the card itself is looking great. Alpha Academy beating RK Bro. Did not like that because RK Bro just came out of a strong win the night before and then were made to look like idiots the night after. Happens a lot, so nothing to really to complain about. I just wish WWE would stop doing that. Is there anything else I'm missing from Monday Night Raw?
The mixed tag. Did you cover that? I was busy fixing my light. I didn't quite catch what you said about the mixed tag. Did you get that?
Right. Mixed tag. With Beth, Edge, Miz, Maurice, right. That segment. Yeah, I'm glad that they announced that for Rumble, so we can get this robbery out of the way.
Right.
It was cool to see Beth. Beth and Edge's entrance is actually really cool. It's really badass. I liked it. But yeah, I'm just ready for them to get this over with. So I'm glad they announced that for Rumble. And that's really it.
Yeah. You guys know my thoughts on the show. It was not a good Raw, but I like what we got with the Lashley and Lesnar situation. NXT New Year's Evil. You guys did not get my thoughts on this show. And boy, do I have a lot of them. I'm not going to go over all of them, but Braun Breaker killed NXT by beating Tommaso Ciampa. I love Braun Breaker, guys. It's not a Braun Breaker issue. It's a Vince McMahon issue. Mandy Rose retained her title. MSK and Riddle beat Imperium. Grayson Waller and AJ Styles is set for next week. Carmelo Hayes becomes the unified champion. Guys, NXT New Year's Evil was a good show. I do not have anything wrong with the show. It's just bittersweet because the old NXT is dead. We saw it with Breaker and Ciampa. Braun Breaker is the new NXT champion. He kicked the logo down. He killed the black and gold. That I don't like. But overall, the show was very good. We saw Walter in NXT. I think he'll be there for a little bit. Mandy Rose retained her title. I didn't give a singular crap about that match. Grayson Waller and AJ Styles is finally set, and Carmelo Hayes is a made man. He is the unified champion. I want to see where they go with Roderick Strong, though. But Brandon, give me your thoughts on NXT New Year's Evil.
Yeah, like you said, good show. Braun Breaker, Ciampa, great match. Breaker's entrance was symbolic what was happening in real life, and that's what they did. Great match. I'm happy for Breaker. Now NXT champion. Mandy Rose retained. Knew it was gonna happen. Cora Jade's probably gonna be the one to take it off of her, but I knew it wasn't gonna happen yet. Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong. That match was amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Really liked that match. Carmelo with the win. Liked it. 6-man tag. That match also very good, very enjoyable. MSK and Riddle were going to take the win. Kind of expected. Walter was not pinned or anything. Great move.
Yep.
Grayson Waller, AJ Styles segment.
We'll kind of talk about that match during the preview, so you don't have to go into that.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was NXT New Year's Evil. AW Dynamite. It was the premiere on TBS, Brandon. Before I go over what happened, I want to get your thoughts on Dynamite being on a new network. Did you see any differences besides the channel it was on? Besides my dumb self forgetting to record it because it was on TBS, is that the only thing that you noticed?
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. That was really. It was exactly what I expected to be. Actually.
Yeah. I
That'd be
didn't
on a new
expect
network.
anything.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything. I expect the viewership to be high, and that's exactly what it was.
Yep, over 1 million.
I forgot to put in my DVR too. Really mad at myself about that. But it's okay. I still caught all the matches after and all the good segments. Yeah, it was a really good show.
Hangman versus Danielson 2. Absolutely incredible match. Jurassic Express won the tag titles. Congratulations to them. Get well soon, Ray Phoenix. Jade Cargill won the TBS championship. Not a good move, Tony Khan. Not a good move. And we got another epic promo battle between MJF and CM Punk. So, Brandon, overall... Actually, hold on. I want to talk about the Jade Cargill thing first. Jade Cargill is not ready. And this is the only thought I have on the show that isn't already obvious. Jade Cargill winning the title was a bad decision. I get it. Tony Khan did not want her to lose her undefeated streak. I get it. Things that happened last week, we're not going to say anything, but things that happened last week may have gone into this decision. And Brandon has been very vocal to me about that, and I tend to agree. But Jade Cargill is not ready. If Tony Khan wanted to make a statement by this or wanted to secure the future of his division, there were other ways to go about it. She didn't need to win. But that it was not a good decision, and I hope they honestly have a way to right the ship here because I didn't like that. The match was not good. Jade is not ready. I don't know what is going on. I think we're losing power or something. I don't know. But as I work on getting my light back up once more. But Brandon, give me your thoughts on Dynamite.
Yeah, Hangman and Bryan. That match was amazing.
Fantastic.
I expected it to end clean, but even when it did, I was still shocked. I was like, wow. Hangman just pinned Bryan. That shot Hangman up even further into the stratosphere with this championship reign. And it's definitely over, and he's about to move on. They're both about to move on.
Give me Jon Moxley at Revolution.
Yes. Jade and Ruby. Really the same stuff. Will said Jade's still very green in the ring. I like her a lot because she's having progress, but she hasn't made it to the point where she's good enough to just carry a title and be at the point she is right now. Yeah, definitely not ready. Tag team match, like we mentioned. Great match. Unfortunate at the ending because of Ray's injury. But the winners, it was still nice for Jurassic Express to win their first tag team titles.
That was big.
CM Punk and MJF, I love that. I like that a lot. Anytime those two, get on the mic, it's something to see. And that break that they were talking about did not last long at all because they were still going back and forth there on the mic, which I love, and I hope it keeps happening. Am I forgetting anything?
You're not. But before we move on, we didn't do AEW Dynamite, so we didn't get to talk about the best moment of the night. So let me find that. The biggest line in this promo. And I quote to MJF, this is Punk to MJF. If you think the grass is greener over there, go main event night 4 of a buy one, get one free extravaganza and get released. That line popped me, and they buried the WWE while doing it. So that was absolutely hilarious. Give me more of that in the next few weeks, and I will obviously watch every week. I already do watch every week, but I will. You know what, Tony Khan? I will rewatch your shows every week if you continue to give me that. Brandon, give me your thoughts on that line.
Yeah, that line definitely popped me. Punk, bro, he's quick witted, especially coming from the company. But then also having a lot changed from when he was there, but still knowing how their mindset and how they work just makes his lines even better when he throws the shots. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thought. What if we get MJF and Hangman at Revolution, since they've been teasing MJF going for world title gold? And then, what if they have MJF win the title there? Is that a possibility? Then that's how we get to the Punk and MJF match? Or do you think we're getting that match non-title first?
Yeah, I expect it to happen non-title. If that was to happen at Revolution, I would see. I'd see. I don't know. I feel like I see Punk getting involved somehow because he mentioned
Yep.
said, yeah, because he mentioned if by any chance your world title, hold on.
I get what Brandon is saying, and I'll kind of drive the conversation in that direction. Um, CM Punk did mention if anybody's going to be there to screw over MJF on his goal to win the world title, it's going to be him. So I could definitely see them doing MJF and Hangman at Revolution. I don't think they will, but if they do, I think Punk gets involved. Hangman wins. MJF can afford a loss, especially to Hangman. Then we get that match between Punk and MJF, and that is when MJF beats Punk and Punk takes his first loss. Is that what you were
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I was saying the same thing. It was I just got reminded of the time it was, and so, but I'm pretty sure we're coming close to an end on the little bit of show here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, okay.
SmackDown. Roman and Brock Lesnar teased their match. Women's Rumble competitors are announced. A Charlotte Flair and Naomi feud begins, and I know Naomi is winning the Rumble. The Usos retain, and Seth Rollins is announced as Roman Reigns' opponent. Look, I think last night what we saw on SmackDown was all the confirmation we needed. We're getting Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event, title for title. The words were said. Brock Lesnar said title for title. We're getting that. The decision to announce the competitors for the Rumble was absolutely abysmal. I don't know why we needed to ruin surprises. Naomi is winning the Women's Royal Rumble. She got screwed over by Sonya again in a championship contenders match. You're telling me a champion didn't lose in one of those? I can't believe my eyes. Naomi will be winning the Women's Royal Rumble. The Usos retained versus the New Day in their 9,989th match. And Seth Rollins is announced as Roman Reigns' opponent for the Rumble. Like I said, well, actually, you guys wouldn't have heard me say that because we didn't do a SmackDown review. But, I really don't get the point of a brand split. And this kind of makes me wonder, are they heading towards ending the brand split because they're having guys come from Raw?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you that right now because we have to see where they go for the Mania match. But Brandon, what do you think of SmackDown?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Naomi's going to win the Rumble. I mean, she was one of my picks anyways. Yeah, the whole women's Rumble being announced, did not understand. And wasn't supposed to be the plan either because Summer Rae came out and said, like, what the heck? Like, it was supposed to be a surprise for everybody, but I guess they didn't say anything. They just announced it on TV anyway for whatever reason. That Brock and Roman segment to open up. I liked it. I liked how Paul Heyman was going back and forth between the two, so it keeps the thing like it's still who's Paul Heyman really loyal to.
Yeah.
Seth coming. Seth coming to really be announced as Roman's opponent for Rumble. A few months back, when there was a segment where Paul Heyman and Roman had came out and they were talking like they didn't know what to do next, and Paul Heyman was about to say something, and they got interrupted by somebody, and I forgot who it was. But basically, they were making it seem like that Roman was about to like start looking for more challengers on Raw. I forgot when it was, but it was interrupted by somebody. But anyways, yeah, I really do think that the brand split, or at least the world title scene being split, is about to stop. And but yeah, the match is going to be great. The build for it, I don't know what they do at all.
Charlotte Flair in the Rumble is another thing. They're trying to do what Brock did in 2020.
Yeah.
You mentioned this to me last night, and to keep things moving, I'm going to say it. What if Charlotte wins the Rumble and she picks Becky, and that's the match we get to unify those titles, and that's a way we like. Are we going on with a true full unification brand split at WrestleMania? I think Naomi's winning, and we're staying normal. But what if?
Yeah, like I said to you last night, if they do want to unify the women's titles, do not give me Becky and Charlotte 1-on-1. Give me some type of multi-women match with multiple women in the match to make it like that. Because I feel like that'd be more interesting, because we've seen Becky and Charlotte way too many times. We've seen Brock and Roman a lot of times too, but it's different because of the story aspect.
It means something, though.
Yeah, it means something. Becky and Charlotte is just rinse and repeat. But yeah, I think it's possible, but they're probably trying to make it. They're probably gonna use it the exact same way they use Brock. If whoever eliminates Charlotte out of the Rumble is most likely gonna be the winner, which is most likely gonna be
Naomi.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think they're gonna do. I just hope they don't have her go in and do what Brock did and just eliminate everybody so easily for like the first 16 people, because that would make me mad.
Yep.
It didn't really make me mad with Brock, because I knew somebody was gonna come out and take him out, and I actually like Brock, unlike some people. But I don't like Charlotte. So, anyways, yeah, it's possible, but I don't think it happens. But they very could well. They very well could do it.
Yeah, I don't think it happens. So. Rampage, we got Hook beating Aaron Solo, Eddie Kingston proud and powerful beating Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Riho and Ruby Soho winning their match, and then Adam Cole beating Jake Atlas. Another good wrestling Rampage. We're not going to go into everything, but it was another good Rampage. Nothing out of the ordinary. Get well soon, Jake Atlas. That's all I got to say. Show previews for this week. Tonight, Battle of the Belts. Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes, Ricky Starks and Matt Sydal, and Britt Baker versus Riho for the Women's Championship. We'll be there.
Sammy versus Dustin Rhodes.
Did I say Cody?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Dustin Rhodes, Cody's out. Raw on Monday. Alexa Bliss makes her journey back to the show, unfortunately. See, she's doing that demon crap she does. She's in my mind now. Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Liv Morgan. Winner faces Becky Lynch at the Rumble. I think it'll be Liv Morgan. And Alpha Academy versus RK Bro for the titles. This is probably the only question I'm going to ask you here, but does Alpha Academy win the titles, or are we waiting till Rumble to get them off of RK Bro?
It takes me back to what I said a few weeks ago. Maybe, they take the titles off RK Bro and then still have them work together to try to get them back. And then when they fail again, then Randy turns. Or maybe they could just lose titles and then Randy turns. I really don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if we're going towards full-on unification, they got to keep them on RK Bro.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're leading towards full-on unification just yet. So I don't know who to pick for Monday, though. I could see RK Bro retaining, but then again, I don't know.
I can see both. I don't know.
NXT 2.0. New Year's Evil Fallout. The only thing that I've seen announced is AJ Styles and Grayson Waller. AJ Styles needs to win.
Yeah. But Grayson Waller he needs to have a great showing, though, obviously.
Yeah, that match needs to be 20 minutes. AW Dynamite. CM Punk versus Wardlow. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. Their 4th match. I'm not sure why this is continuing. And Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs. I am so looking forward to that match. Brandon knows how big of a fan I am of both of those guys.
Yeah.
As for SmackDown, we have nothing announced. I assume we're going to get something between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, kind of making the match official. And I kind of think this is where we're going to get Sammy and Shinsuke, unless they save it for the Rumble, which, please, merciless Lord, don't let happen.
You know.
And I think we're going to get more build between Sonya and Naomi, more build towards the Rumble. I mean, hey, they might announce the other 12 competitors for the Royal Rumble. They might just mess around and announce Ronda Rousey. Like, I don't know. And then for Rampage, obviously nothing announced yet, as they usually don't announce things up until Wednesday, and unless it's big. So nothing announced for that as well. But, guys, that's all we got for you guys. We are actually in a rush to get out of here because we are about to go to the show. So expect a vlog coming soon, but make sure to like and comment, answer the question of the day. What's your honest feeling about NXT being purged? I know a lot of you are going to not like this, and neither do we. So you're not the only ones. Make sure to subscribe as well and turn on post notifications so you never miss when we upload a podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. It's in this corner. And on Twitter at 4wall_wrestling. Brandon, did I miss anything?
Nope.
All right, guys. Make sure you're staying tuned for that vlog. We are actually gonna have reviews this week. Last week was very busy, but stay tuned as well. We should have things for you this week. I'm not sure when the vlog's gonna go, but it will be soon. But that's all we got for you guys. Be good. For Brandon, I'm Will. We're gonna go enjoy Battle of the Belts. Peace.